In this video, I am going to show you a little known system for backing over 2.5 goals called the Round Robin Refund system. This is quite an exciting way to profit from over 2.5 goals that I think you're going to like. And I will be breaking down this system step by step to ensure you can see exactly how we turn a standard treble into a resilient investment cycle. This isn't about finding a magic winner every single time. It's about a professional approach to protecting your capital while positioning yourself for significant spikes in profit. So, go put the kettle on and let's dive right in. And so, just to give you an idea of what this system can do, here you can see we had 3 over 2.5 goals bets and made a return of £185 using the Round Robin system. Placing these same bets individually will have yielded a return of just £58, so this is already a big difference in profit. And the best part about the Round Robin system is that even if we only hit 2 out of 3, we would have made close to our money back. So anyway, let me break down the mechanics and the structure of this system step by step. Before we get into the mechanics of the structure, we have to understand the logical foundation of why this system actually works. In the sports markets, most people are obsessed with the perfect treble, where all 3 legs have to land for them to see a penny. This creates a massive amount of psychological and financial fragility because the probability of hitting 3 out of 3 is mathematically quite low, even with good selections. The edge we are exploiting here is the statistical probability distribution of moderate strength selections. By utilizing a round robin structure, we are acknowledging that while hitting 3 out of 3 is the goal, hitting 2 out of 3 is a much more frequent and probable event. We are essentially exploiting the market's tendency to over-penalize the one-leg fail scenario. By structuring our position to return a significant portion of our stake when 2 out of 3 land, we smooth out the variance and allowing us to stay in the game long enough to hit the profitable spikes without the emotional drain of constant total losses. Once you understand that core logic, the actual execution becomes a matter of discipline, which starts with our research. Okay, so let's start with phase 1, which is generating the 3 selections. This is the stage where we identify the specific DNA of the matches that qualify for our system. We are looking for games with strong attacking profiles and specific expected goals, or XG, benchmarks. Ideally, we want to see both teams projected to score at least 1.30 goals individually, or a combined match XG that suggests a high-scoring environment. What most people do wrong here is they pick teams based on reputation alone, assuming a big-name club will always produce goals regardless of the tactical setup or the opposition's defensive strength. This is a mistake I used to make myself back when I first started out and would just load up my slips with famous teams because I thought more recognizable names meant more certain goals. I used to fall into this trap constantly, ignoring the actual price and the underlying data. How we approach this correctly is by being much more clinical. We only shortlist matches where the over 2.5 price is 1.70 or higher. We avoid matches with red flag defensive setups, like 2 teams struggling in a relegation battle where the fear of losing might lead to a cagey, low-scoring affair. We want medium-strength environments where the tactical styles of both teams suggest an open game. It is also vital to diversify your selections across different leagues and different kickoff times, rather than picking 3 matches from the same league on a Saturday afternoon. This independence ensures that a single league-wide trend or a specific weather event doesn't ruin all 3 of your selections at once. We are looking for 3 distinct high-probability over spots that can stand on their own merit before we ever think about the structure. Alternatively, we use the Stato app to give us 3 over 2.5 goals picks. We do this by pressing the goals prompt inside the app for each match of interest and seeing which way the Stato app says to go. If I press the prompt on one match and it suggests over 2.5 goals, then I will add that match to my shortlist and find 2 more to add to my round robin. By the way, if you like videos like this and want to see more on this subject, remember to click the like button. It tells YouTube to send you more of this kind of content. And while you are there, you should hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss a system or strategy video. Now this is important as we move into phase 2, which is the structure of the round robin. This phase is where we take our 3 selections and combine them in a way that provides our safety net. What this phase represents is the move away from the traditional all or nothing treble. Instead of placing one single bet, we are creating a 3 selection round robin consisting of 3 doubles and 1 treble. Why this matters is that it fundamentally changes the math of your Saturday. In a standard treble, If match A and match B win, but match C ends 0-0, you lose your entire stake. In our system, that outcome still triggers a payout on the A and B double, which acts as our refund and preserves our capital. How we approach this correctly is by dividing our total stake across these 4 combinations. If you were planning to put £4 on a treble, you would instead put £1 on each of the 3 doubles and £1 on the treble. This ensures that even if one team lets you down, you are often returning 75 to 80% of your total stake, depending on the odds. Most bookmakers will have a round robin option to select once you have your picks in the betting slip. It's about reducing the damage. We aren't trying to eliminate risk entirely, we are simply smoothing it out so that a 2 out of 3 result is no longer a disaster. This structure allows us to survive the quiet weeks and remain intact for when the 3 out of 3 spike eventually lands, which is where the real growth happens. That leads us neatly to phase 3, which is price discipline and the math of the cycle. This phase is the filter that ensures our refund actually does its job. What this phase is the strict adherence to a specific odds range, which is the sweet spot between 1.75 and 1.90. Why it matters is that if you take prices that are too short, like 1.50, your doubles won't return enough to actually act as a refund. Conversely, if you take prices that are too high, like 2.20, you are dealing with too much volatility and your hit rate will drop, causing the system to collapse under the weight of too many losing cycles. I'm genuinely curious to know if you've ever found yourself in that frustrating position where you've spent all morning researching the perfect treble, only to have a random 0-0 draw in the final leg wipe out your entire bankroll for the weekend. Anyway, how we approach this correctly is by being robotic with our pricing. We want a true strike rate of around 65% for our individual picks. If each pick hits at that rate, the math tells us we have about a 71% chance of hitting at least 2 winners in our cycle. Only about 29% of our cycles should result in a heavy loss. This is the refund effect in action. At odds of 1.80, a winning double returns 3.24 units. If your total stake was 4 units, you've only lost 0.76 units. Compare that to losing the full 4 units on a regular treble, and you can see why this is a professional's preferred way to manage variance. Now, this leads us to phase 4, which is correlation and tactical avoidance. This phase is about protecting the independence of our selections to ensure the math stays on our side. What this phase represents is the discipline to not pick games that might be tactically linked. Why it matters is that correlation is the silent killer of round robins. If you pick 3 relegation 6-pointers because you think they will all be high scoring, you might find that the pressure of the situation leads to all 3 being cagey 0-0 or 1-0 results. I learned this the hard way during my early years when I would enter too many matches from the same league on a rainy, wet Tuesday, only to watch as every single game was bogged down by the same poor conditions, resulting in a total wipeout. Every time I've ignored this rule and tried to stack similar types of matches, I've been reminded that the market doesn't care about my feelings. This is where most people slip up, and I was no different before I adopted a more clinical approach to league diversification. How we approach this correctly is by ensuring our free picks come from different tactical environments. We might take one game from the German Bundesliga for its high-tempo transitions, one from the Dutch Eredivisie for its attacking openness, and perhaps a high-scoring side from the English Championship. We also avoid derby matches where emotion can override the statistical goal-scoring DNA of the teams. By treating each selection as a standalone investment in a different market, we ensure that our 71% probability of hitting 2 out of 3 remains statistically sound. We are looking for independence, not clusters. Now the final phase is bankroll management and the spike reality. This phase is the psychological anchor that allows you to stick to the process during the quiet periods. What this phase represents is the understanding that this is a long-term cycle, not a daily gamble. Why it matters is that you have to be able to survive the refund cycles to benefit from the spike cycles. What most people do wrong is they get impatient after 2 or 3 refund cycles and start chasing their losses by increasing their stakes or loosening their filters, which is exactly when a losing cycle usually hits. How we approach this correctly is by treating each full round robin as a single structured position and only exposing 1 to 2% of our bankroll per cycle. We have to accept that a near refund, where we lose 0.85 units, is actually progress because it preserved our capital for the next opportunity. When the 3 out of 3 win eventually lands, the payout is massive. With odds around 1.80, a 3 out of 3 win can return over 15 units from a 4-unit stake, giving you a net profit of over 11 units. That one spike pays for many refund cycles and provides the genuine growth in your bankroll. You are essentially using the structure to buy yourself time until the variance swings in your favor. And so, here the Stato app has given us 3 solid over 2.5 goals predictions. They don't fit the price range perfectly, but I am confident. So this is loaded up on the betting slip in the Betfair Sportsbook. But to run this system, you need to scroll down and look for the Trixie option. Some bookmakers will call it a Trixie, some will call it a Round Robin, which is where this system gets the name. Anyway, I place a bet of £10 which will become a total stake of £40 as the sportsbook will convert this into 3 doubles and 1 treble. And remember, we only need 2 of these to come in to make the overall transaction a successful one for us and avoid losing everything. And a quick update, as by minute 60 we had already landed 2 of these and you can see the cash out that is available. Anyway, in this one, we land all 3 of them and take home the £185 return, which is a much bigger return than if we had backed these as singles. So, if you are someone who is patient enough to wait for a big win and always feels like you only lose your accumulators by 1 leg, then this type of system is for you. Here is another round robin that I set up. Again, the prices on over 2.5 goals were a little bit shorter than I normally like, but I was still happy to take these selections. And as you can see, a £40 stake would return £179. I let the matches play out, and by around the 70th minute it was looking very good. 2 of the over 2.5 goals bets had landed, and the cash out was glowing green. I just needed 1 more goal to land the full profit. However, it wasn't to be as the pending match finished in a 1-1 draw. But the good news is that I got the vast majority of my stake refunded back as the round robin returned me £31.50. Keep in mind, if the prices I took on over 2.5 goals were slightly higher and in the suggested odds range, this could have been a full refund of my stake. The mindset behind this is that it gives me another chance to follow the round robin system and land that jackpot profit. As said, this is a great system if you like to chase big wins and don't mind being patient as you wait for it. I strongly urge you to give it a go. Like I said earlier guys, hours of manual research are no longer necessary if you want to professionalize your approach. The Stato app is the ultimate tool for finding the best over 2.5 goal bets that fit the specific requirements of this round robin system. It provides incredible speed and efficiency, allowing you to identify those high probability value spots in seconds so you can focus on the execution and the math of your trades. It is a total research accelerator that handles the heavy lifting of data analysis, ensuring you aren't just guessing which teams are likely to see 3 or more goals. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen right now to get started. It is a serious professional advantage and a total game changer for anyone who wants to stop the all or nothing gamble and start investing with a structured edge. I really hope this deep dive into the round robin refund method has shown you that consistency in the goal markets comes from structure and variance management, not just picking winners. When you stop chasing the perfect treble and start using a refund-based framework, you'll find that your bankroll becomes much more resilient. Thank you so much for watching and for your time today. Remember to hit that like button. It tells YouTube to show you more of this kind of content. As always, the learning shouldn't stop here. There is actually another video on the screen right now that I think you'll find very useful if you want to keep building your knowledge and sharpening your edge. Go ahead and click that, and I'll see you over there.